African Democratic Congress may have provided an alternative for the opposition coalition in a bid to wrestle power from the ruling All Progressives Congress. But one concern that has been raised by various stakeholders is who will emerge as the party's flag bearer for the 2027 elections. With various political heavyweights decamping from other parties to join the ADC, there are fears that the choice of their candidate may determine how far the party will go in challenging the ruling party. However, on the morning show on Monday, Kenneth Okonkwo, a former spokesperson for the Labour Party presidential campaign, doubled down on his opinion that the only way for the ADC to stand a chance against the APC is if a northern candidate emerges to challenge President Bola Tinubu in 2027, as opposed to the clamour for a southern candidate. Joining us on the show to discuss the ADC's chances against the ruling party and if Kenneth Okonkwo's point on having a northerner as the flag bearer of the opposition will boost their chances of unseating the APC is Peter Ameh, former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, National Secretary, Coalition of United Political Parties. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Mr. Peter Ameh. Coalition politics. First.
Good morning, Doctor.
You are involved with the Inter-Party Advisory Council and the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP. Just to ask, did anybody in the coalition consult your organizations before the coalition was announced, before the choice of the ADC was publicized? And then second, what do you think about the prospects of the ADC? The ADC, now in form of the coalition, has two ambitions: to remove President Tinubu out of power, and to remove the APC also, to push the APC out of power. Do you think that it's possible? Just your general thoughts to start with.
First and foremost, for the Inter-Party Advisory Council, there's a new chairman. I'm former chairman. But for the coalition, I actually attended several meetings of the current coalition and was part of several deliberations. For the opportunities that lies for the coalition and their plan to remove the current administration that is not underperforming seriously, I think there are a lot of chances. But those chances should be predicated on certain factors and drawn within certain parameters, because you cannot, in this day and time, when election and political dynamics have changed from where people need to stuff ballot box, run away with it and grab it, you need candidates that have momentum, that have public appeal, that have, that have organic depth of support, that to be able to go into the ballot so that you have or go onto the ballot so that you have the opportunity to remove the current government. And you know that if you, the kind of information that was put here to say that it must be not. What defeated Jonathan in 2015 wasn't just about the fact that the North felt that it was their turn from 2011-12 to build up to 2015. And they felt that it was their turn and that they must try to be part of it. And that would not even see happen without the implosion in the PDP, where you have people from River State, you have people from Imo, people from Kwara, like Saraki and Co., who now eventually left the PDP. So the only way to defeat this current government is to have a candidate that will have the capacity to do so. And you can't come and put innuendos and rhetoric and so it must be the North. Pursuing generalization statement on general terms without specifically stating what candidate you think should be that. For me, I think that candidate should be Peter Obi. Candidate that have moved that goes around from state to state, that move from Jigawa to from Abuja to Kafasha to Kaduna, even to Olamaboro in Kogi State, and I've been to several technical institution, nursing school. We can't have people who are not showing compassion, who are not showing that they have the capacity to be able to know the terrain of this country. Because the problem we have put people in government who have not been able to even know what is the route that link between Ogugu to Enugu. What is that road? People don't travel, they travel on shop. But I have seen a candidate. I will not come to do a statement on that I will not mention name of those I think that can win this thing. And if you look at the last election, there was no political entrenchment. There was no political structure. People say, oh, there are 3 people tweeting in one room. There are no governors. There are no senators. But that election, Obi has proven beyond reasonable doubt that he has the public, the people have interest in him, because it's about the messaging, it's about the acceptance, because you can be popular and then you go to the ballot and there's no result. But people accept you, that's why your popularity translates into vote. So you look at the Southern election that was conducted, despite the fact that APC was in control of the structure in the entire south of our country. If PDP was in control of, within the south, PDP was in control of Delta. In that Delta, they had a vice presidential candidate for the PDP, and Atiku won the vote, Peter Obi won the vote there over 80%. You have the Southern election statistics, where Peter Obi had 44.5%, Atiku had 19.4%, Tinubu had 35.5%, and Kwakwaso had 0.48%. You know, where he defeated every candidate that participated in the South. And when you come to the North, he had a substantial share. You have to take away the rigging, because the people say, oh, he didn't win the election. People are claiming he won the election. We need to go to the IRF and see that there are a lot of irregularities, a lot of forged results that were posted there. And if you look at the BBC report, expose done on Rivers State, including Premium Times, you will find out that Peter Obi defeated every other candidate in Rivers State. These are data that are verifiable, that you can reach out to. We can't just sit down and then come to a station and then try to put up candidates that are not going out there to sell themselves, to go around to connect with Nigerians, to show compassion to people who are going through crisis, like what happened in Makwa, and then we go and elect candidate again that will now start to draw Nigeria back.
Okay, Mr. Peter Ameh, thank you so much for that. And I also appreciate that you're making it very clear where you stand and where your support lies. And it seems, it's obvious that you're supporting a rematch, if I may call it that, a rematch of 2023 to be replayed in 2027. You've mentioned issues of irregularities from the electoral umpire. But from a political standpoint, what are the strategic errors that you feel need to be rectified for this rematch to have a different outcome from what we saw in 2023? Because many people continue to analyze and say that, well, if Peter Obi and Atiku could have come together, it would have been a formidable force and the outcome would have been obvious. But it looks like Atiku is interested in that ticket as well. Peter Obi is interested in the ticket. We have an incumbent. What are the permutations that need to change for this rematch to have a different result?
They were both together in 2019. And if you look at the build-up to 2023 election, there were new voters. And if you look at the registration done by INEC, there were a lot of new voters that came on board. And these voters came on board because they saw a reason to be able to participate in the election. And there were a lot of hopes, too, that this election that will be hosted on IRF. And this IRF, and look, voter cast at the polling unit, accreditation done at the polling unit. Nigeria has one of the best electoral framework. But the fact is that it's the human interference that is actually hindering us from having proper data that will be reliable. But if you want to say it's a rematch, Tinubu will be at a disadvantage, because those votes that were that was registered, that were not the exact numbers of votes scored, are also there who are going to tackle them. Because people don't want to look at facts. They say, no, why are you saying this? Look at Lagos election. We have seen on station where when we started going to court, the data that was presented from EC8A, because you have what they call from EC8A, which is given to each polling unit agent of political parties. You have from EC8B, that now you record the final electoral result. The PDP has the complete data of that result in Lagos that reflects the fact that Obi scored far above 500,000 votes. So our election, for us to get it right, I have actually put out before that you can look at sections of the Constitution, section 105, subsection 1, section 64, subsection 1, and you can look at other sections, section 178, subsection 2, and look at those sections, and then make sure that we have our election all conducted in one day. If we have all this election conducted in one day, it will reduce the voter apathy, it will reduce the fatigue on INEC, it will reduce the cost of conducting the election, and that will also help for us to go. And for that rematch to be also be successful, you need somebody that can actually match Tinubu in the south, because they will not. You don't come to create southern solidarity like what you created northern solidarity in the build up to 2015 election, because there's no way any one region can decide the fate of our presidency. And we have tried to reach. Obi has tried to reach all parts of this country, working to show the interest that yes, education is very key and very important. If a nation must grow, if a nation must develop, and you look at the investment in healthcare. Right now we have an healthcare system that our president cannot even go to the hospital 2 weeks before Buhari left office. 21 billion naira was invested in the ASO clinic. Weeks, and it was the place. There was a ceremony to open up that place, but nobody's using it today. So we have a situation where we need to have people who believe in the system, people who know the system, who have traveled across length and breadth of this country by road to know what the people are feeling. And I see Obi doing that on every weekly basis, except it's not in this country. Okay. So we must connect those dots. Okay. And I will not hide behind one finger to say, oh, it must be south. I have narrowed it from south to Peter Obi.
Okay. Truth is, so that means you're an Obi man. Let's just get it once and for all. You're an Obi man. But what about the arguments? People like, Hello, can you hear me? I said, what about the arguments? Okay. What about the arguments people like this person make, Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, by saying that Obi cannot make inroads in the core north? And that's why he says he favors a northern candidate, so that we can have it split down the middle, so that there's a southern candidate and there's another candidate. I said Obi cannot make inroads in the core north. I did win a lot of the votes in the north the last time around. And you need somebody that the north will be able to hold on to, as it were. And they said that having the South together, there's going to be, if you have two candidates in the South, there's going to be a split of votes. But if you have the North, a northern candidate, then the North will collectively stand behind somebody, and the South will stand behind their candidate, and they are going to merge them. In fact, let me be honest with you, the thought of me talking about this on national TV makes me feel very stupid in this country, that after many years of independence, we still talk about North and South rather than development and people that are competent and they have character. So I feel very stupid this morning, but either way. So what's your take to that argument?
Sincerely, Rufai, I must agree with you that it's embarrassing that we are still talking about North and South, that it should be based on competence, merit, and ability to perform. But the take is that there are data that they are putting out that is not really representing the true interest of the North. You can't say that the North, for instance, I do not agree. I know what Obi scored in Kaduna in the last election. It's 294,000 votes and 2 hours of rep in Kaduna. And I know what is scored in Plateau. So the North is not what is, and his analysis is showing. The fact that Obi could even take 15.2% vote in the North without the kind of structure that was put in place, without proper preparation, 6 months into the election, the North is not as monolithic as he has come to define it. The fact is that we must be able to see that the North has gone beyond those rhetorics that he's putting out. Look at 2011 election result, when the North decided and committed to the fact that it was their turn. The CPC won almost the state in the North. Ribadu won in Oshu. Jonathan won the whole South and took the North Central. So the best option for a country like us to grow forward is for people to stop coming to television station and insisting that the North will not support to be. That is a wrong. I'm from the North. I'm from Kogi State. What part of the North is he talking about? I ran in the last election. I saw how a gun was pointed at me in my own local government, in my own collation center, when Obi was defeating everybody in Olamabro local government. The facts are there. So we need to have an electoral security architecture that protects the interest of the opposition. We need to have an electoral umpire that is transparent, that has all intent and purposes to conduct a credible, a transparent election. If we have our election, removing the coalition center, and then keeping with the promise of the Independent Electoral Commission to upload results from the polling directly to the IRF, It will save us a lot of cost. It will save us a lot of embarrassment. We know that our election is progressing from ballot box stuffing, from ballot box snatching, and all of that. But we need this amendment. We don't need too many of these amendments that people are putting up today, because if the elections are, nobody has that capacity to say this rigging in 179,000 polling units. So we need to have that inbuilt system that the electoral umpire will make a rule, because if they make regulations and guidelines for conduct of election, they have the 2022 one as we speak, they must make a rule and decide to stand by the rule, because you can't have subsidiary law made by you and then you do not also respect that subsidiary law that the Supreme Court has said several times that is also a law that must be respected by all parties that are participating in an election. So INEC must step up its game to make sure that, because the reason why we have people in government today that are defecting and decapping to other parties because of the promise of we will protect you with security, we will talk to INEC for you. So this system will have to go away. But the mistake they are making now is that they are forgetting that the dynamics of our elections have changed. It has really changed, because there are young people that constitute over 60% of our population that are now very intelligent people that believe in technology, that understand interest of this country, because the unemployment figure is very embarrassing. The unemployment people are underpaid in most of the agencies and institutions. We need to have, the young people are more interested in rescuing this country. And I know that as we move forward, we need people that have financial discipline, that have moral discipline, that can communicate with the reality of today, and then be able to save this country from the brink of collapse. So for our elections to work, we must stop talking about not answer. But this is not going to stop now, because for now, we need to be able to balance this, what exists, so that we can go into an election united. Because people tell you about direct primaries. Direct primaries is when you have all the members of the parties contesting. For you to have direct primary in a political party, the party must have an inbuilt technology framework that must be able to protect that votes are transparent. Because we are going to be running election in almost all the wards of this country if it's a presidential election. Okay. Then the INEC too must also have that capacity to be present.
Okay. Chief Ameh, let's focus more on the substantive issues. You know that the North-South divide is a given reality in the coming elections and in other elections. And it's a big issue right now, understandably. Now, you see President Tinubu trying to hold on to the South. Even Osun State, PDP, and the governor of Osun State, they've said, we are declaring for President Tinubu. Others in the South are ganging up. Now, how do you think this matter will be resolved? What's your prediction? Do you think that the coalition, one way or the other, will be able to shake the incumbent president and party? Or that the coalition, you know, all of this drama is just a social media drama, you know, just scaremongering, and that it may be difficult to dislodge the southern candidate who is currently the president of Nigeria? What's your reading of the calculus? Let's go beyond the social media rhetoric. We will remove Tinubu, we will remove APC. How practicable is it?
I've come here to discuss issues as someone who have attended the coalition meeting, and I know the caliber of people who are there. A lot of our friends are there, former governors and all that, who are really interested in trying to make sure that there's a change of guard in 2027. And look at why, Dr. Bati, you need to look, like I talked about election dynamics, that it has changed. You look at Lagos. Lagos was entrenched in the hands of Tinubu since 1999. Nobody has been able to score any vote there. Nobody has been able to defeat him. But in the last election, he was defeated by Labour Party, led by Peter Obi. And you look at the Southeast, that Obi got close to 90% of the vote cast there. It is not about this structure that old political structure that people try to depend that is based on one governor, and the governor will deliver the area to whoever he decides. The only way you can decide to have a defeat in the next, for the coalition not to defeat Tinubu, is the fact if they go to get a candidate that has no organic support, that has no mass base, where you can, tap from the reservoir and then add to it. So if you look at the South-South, you know that there's an interest. So you can't put yes, I agree with you that these are reality, North and Southern, rotation. But most times, unwritten laws are more decisive and are more potent than even those that are written. Because you can't say that, oh, you pick a president from the north today. They say, oh, no, you should pick a Christian from the south. What about the Babalawos and all that? This is what we do in this country. We agree, we have accepted that. When you pick a southern Christian, you are expected to put a northern Christian, so a northern Muslim. So we agree this exists. And that is why we are saying, for us to have a united front, for us to have the southern solidarity for those who are suffering in the south, who are determined to be able to remove this government, and also add to the support of 15.5% vote that will be as called in the north. That is what was recorded after all the failed attempt to take away all the vote from him. So we need to have that, and then bring in the support base of other northerners who believe that the only obstacle that would have
sorry to interrupt
talking
you.
about southern.
Sorry to interrupt you. What is your recommendation? Who and what are you recommending to the coalition? Since you say you have attended some of their meetings. Within the context of your line of argument.
For every time that you have, for every time you have election, there are new way of resolving issues. You could have direct primaries, indirect primaries, and a consensus on the day of election. But I believe that there should be a pre-elitist consensus so that people can come together and agree that, well, where are we going to the south? So that we will have not waste time in this struggle between ourselves and then deplete our resources, then deplete our energy, while the people in government have enough to be able to run around. So there should be a pre-elite consensus
from the south
where they decide.
Who is that person from the south that you would prefer?
No, I said it, that Obi is what I prefer. I prefer Obi because I've known Obi for a very long time. And I know he has been very consistent with his principle. And if you say, oh, who am I going to choose as somebody that should mentor my children, that will be able to bring this country back to financial discipline and bring fiscal discipline on board of our leadership of this country, I believe Obi has the capacity, the compassion, and the merit to deliver on that result.
Okay, you are campaigning for Peter Obi of the Labour Party. But at the same time, you have Dr. Dati Ahmed saying that Mr. Peter Obi should stay with the Labour Party. So looking at these things, some of us are a bit worried that the future is still a bit fluid. Don't you think so?
The fundamental principles of our democracy is freedom of expression. People have the right to say what they want to say. But what has been discussed, and Obi has participated in most of the talks and contributed immensely to the success of the coalition. So I believe that for coalition mostly yes, you can have individual elitist high-ranking coalition members, and then you can also have political parties come on board later. But as we discuss this matter today, I have not seen Obi retract any of the statements he has made about his interest for the coalition. So I want to ask that to respect his own opinion for what he has said, but that is not what the general people supporting Obi are canvassing for today. We are canvassing for the fact that there must be united opposition behind Peter Obi so that we can get this thing right in 2027.
All right. That's duly noted. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Peter Ameh. We continue to watch as the balls drop. Or is it the chips drop?